to the Microtech Ultralight before she left, but she told me if she didn't get around to doing it because she was really under the gun to get things done before she left on vacation, that I could call you and you would help me out. So by this time I'm walking down the street in downtown Denver. There are horns honking. It's outside. It's not like in a business environment. So this next question kind of caught me by surprise. She goes, Rick, what version do you want? And I had no idea what version numbers were because I didn't actually research that. So I asked Alicia, I go, how about the latest and the greatest? So she's typing on her computer 5, 6, 7 minutes. And she comes back and she goes, okay, Rick, I found the latest source code tree for the Microtech Ultralight, but there's a problem. I go, what is it? She goes, there are hundreds of directories, and within those directories there are hundreds of files. I go, do you know how to use tar and gzip? Like WinZip under Windows? She goes, no, what's that? I said, would you like to learn how to use tar and gzip? She goes, yeah, will you teach me? And I became her instructor for the day. So after today's lesson, we had a 3 megabyte file of the source code that I had wanted. So my next question to Alicia was, you know how to use a program called FTP? She goes, you mean file transfer program, right? And I go, yeah, precisely. And mind you, this was not prepared. I did this extemporaneously, just off the cuff. So I had no place for her to transfer the code. Right? Then I remembered I had an anonymous account at some university in Colorado, but I couldn't give Alicia, please FTP at hacker.colorado.edu. That's a little bit suspicious, right? But fortunately, I had a great memory for remembering numbers, and I actually remembered the IP address. So I said, Alicia, try opening a connection to this IP address, walk her through the process. And each time, she tried 3 or 4 times, it just sits there where it's trying to open the connection. There was no connectivity. And she goes, Rick, she goes, I think what you're asking me to do is a security issue. I'm going to go talk to my security manager. I'll be right back. And I go, no, no, no. But it was too late. I was already on hold. And I'm thinking, well, as soon as she tells somebody else what I'm asking her to do, they're going to yell at her. So 4 minutes pass, 5 minutes pass, and you know, when you're nervous waiting on a call, the time seems like 20 minutes. So I'm thinking, maybe they're hooking up a tape recorder, so when she comes back on the line, I'm going to be very careful and not really talk. So she comes back on the line and she goes, Rick, She goes, I spoke to my security manager about what you're asking me to do. Notice I'm not talking without tape recording. She goes, the IP address you gave me is not within Motorola. That's outside our company. I go, And she goes, my security manager said for me to transfer you this file, we need to use a special proxy server here at Motorola. And he was kind enough to give me the username and password so I could transfer you the file. So by the time I walked home, which is a 15-minute walk from the law firm, I put the key into the door. The source code for the Microtech Ultralight was sitting at this Colorado University. So, Motorola, huge company. Do they have firewalls? Yes. Do they have IDS? Yes. Do they use RSA secure ID to protect their whole campus? Yes. That took, what, 4 or 5 phone calls. Talked to 3 or 4 people and have the crown jewels. So the moral of the story goes, you can't just rely on the technology, you know, it's critical. So what are the holes in the human firewall? Why does social engineering work? The number one reason? People operate under the illusion of invulnerability. It can't happen to me. Right? You know the type of people. I could smoke 5 packs a day because only other people get cancer. Or I don't need to wear my seatbelt because I'm a great driver. You know, that type of mentality. And those are the people that are the most susceptible to social engineering. People tend to trust others, which is good, especially in corporate environments. You want people to trust each other. But unfortunately, the unethical hackers out there will exploit this implicit trust to get somebody to comply with the request. People perceive security protocols as a waste of time. Case in point, the company has a policy to pick complex passwords. The IT engineers program a policy that the passwords have to be complex. So what do users do? They're forced to pick the complex password and they write it down on the post-it notes, stick it on their monitor. Or the clever ones hide it under their keyboard where nobody's going to look, right? Same thing. People underestimate the value of information like Alicia at Motorola. The source code of Microtech Ultralight was extremely valuable to Motorola. People want to naturally help one another in corporate environments, right? So if somebody perceives that it's their colleague or another employee that needs help, they're likely going to help them. Not necessarily because they want to. One reason is the law of reciprocity. That if somebody asks you for help and you do it, then you could always call on that person for a favor in like kind. So there are other factors of why people will help in corporate environments. And more importantly, people don't realize the consequences of their actions. You get somebody that's not technically astute, like a secretary in a company, and somebody's calling her from the IT department and has her type in commands into her system that she has no clue about what it's doing. It works because she doesn't realize the consequences of her doing that. So again, who do the hackers attack? The people that are least likely to know what they're doing. The best targets. Information gathering. In more sophisticated attacks, and this is kind of my favorite part of social engineering, is actually obtaining information on the target. What tools are available for us? The internet, Westlaw, Lexis, there are databases out there for open source information. Dumpster diving, I'll explain that in a moment. It's a dirty job, but some people have to do it.